Okay, I think we will start with the next speaker. So I'm delighted to introduce Dr. Basma Sheta from Egypt. I'm delighted she's able to give a talk on the ecology and conservation of the birds of Egypt. And I know that she has just got back from doing field work. I'm especially delighted because she's been out of email and internet contact for about 2 weeks until yesterday, and we were getting a little bit worried about whether she would be able to attend today. So I am genuinely really delighted that you're back from the field, and really look forward to hearing your presentation on the ecology and conservation of the birds of Egypt. So over to you, Basma.
Okay, thank you all so much, and thank you, Nick and Tom and all OSME. I'm sorry for being late, but it's winter season in Egypt and it's now migration, so we are in field work, continue our monitoring and our watching, so I'm sorry for that. So next slide, please, Nick. Okay. Yeah, so about me, I am Basma Sheta, an associate professor in Damietta University. We are in coastal area of Egypt, northern of Egypt. I'm interested mainly in doing bird ecology studies and ornithology work here in Damietta University. And okay, next slide. So I think mainly if I should go through a specific topic and talk in depth about what we are doing and what's the specific and prominent result we have, but I find that we need an opportunity to talk in front of such a great community with OSME community, great ornithology researchers. I need to to introduce our work and to talk about what we already did. So I find it just to make like a stop about what we did in general, then we can, so you can share with us what we are really doing in real field. We start since 2005, starting for first time at the Damietta University working on birds, and it's such a strange world, doing research on bird and going for field work. And we did work on coastal area of Egypt, doing monitoring and survey and correlate that with human activities. In coastal area, it looks like a kind of integrated coastal zone management. And we find interesting finding. So next, please. We find more than 200 bird species in coastal area, although it's not, this place is not protected or even IBA, but we find it's a good place for sheltering and for roosting and for wintering of migratory birds, and need more attraction and need more, more study. And what the most amazing, okay, next. Here is the place to be just with me in the northern of Egypt, and okay, and we select a specific topic with different habitat, land use, and land cover to compare bird species in different land use. And we find a great diversity in this neglected habitats because they are not protected or not IBA, so no more study, but we find that we have a lot of diversity using the diversity indexes, and we find that it's really need more attraction. So, okay, next. Okay. Yeah, and we find that in autumn season in Egypt, they set up quail hunting nets, and there is also illegal hunting methodologies happen and done, which we need more to pay attention more about catching not only quails, but they also catching different other migratory bird species. They need more conservation, using of illegal pesticide like DDT, building high building in big areas, and using the open garbage dump. All these activities make it interrupt the biodiversity in these areas, and they need more attraction, and they need to make it control for preventing this such bad human activities. And in this area also we make a good interesting records of BlackWinged Stealth. We record breeding for first time, and we confirm it for 2 years as a documentation of how they build the nest and how they the plant associated with building this nest. And we record and monitoring the breeding of this bird, and how this bird make his nest, and how he defend his territory. And was actually a good place. We'll find that this coastal area is a good place for breeding birds, especially BlackWinged Stealth. Okay, next. For after that, we get more brooder. So we go in depth for Delta, working on selected governorate for in Delta in Egypt, like Damietta, Gharbiya, Monofia, and Fayoum. And we find that for first insight to say, okay, so we go in Delta, and we are searching for maybe only common birds, but we find that no, it's really good wintering area for migratory birds, and there is a lot of migratory birds, migratory water birds inside the governorate of Delta, and they actually maybe escape from any disturbance outside or next to the protectorate, and become it, which like makes the idea that maybe we need to reassess the protectorate again, and to see if we can make like adding more protectorate, or at least maybe another IBAs inside inside the Delta. And okay, next. So we try to make a different, not only survey and monitoring and correlate that with the land use and land cover, but we are trying to do mist netting, catching birds, making ringing, use marker capture technique, and use collect samples from live birds for DNA work, for viral screening, for isotope analysis, and for as I said, the DNA extraction and DNA marker work, and study migration. So this is the start to establish something like that. And okay, yeah, and after that we what we did, and we start to make a breeding bird survey also for the common bird, and we find like graceful Brenia nest, and okay, this is the most common. Next, here is the graceful Brenia nest, yeah, and common moorhen, okay, spur-winged plover or lapwing, yeah. And okay, let's talk about this. So we find that Delta, it's really good, and there is a record we didn't say, like streaked weaver bird nest. We find the record of breeding of streaked weaver nest also. So the second issue we are trying to work on it, that empowering women and make women more attractive in field of environment, and use women to promote women and promote her role in environment and protecting environment. We I find it actually it's very very remarkable role, because when I used to work on a social aspect of how to make women empower our work in avian influenza in my PhD, I find it has like a great role in that. So we used to educate and talk to neglected places in rural areas, because women in these areas, I'm talking about rural areas in Debs and Delta, not in big cities like Cairo, like places like Alex. I'm talking about very rural and very native areas. Woman has a power also, and she is leading, and she is she can have the role to help us in protecting environment. And now we are also working on to empower women and make women enter this phase of protecting environment with us. Next. Okay. So after PhD and returned back from UCLA, University of California, and established a small lab of ornithology, we have now our own ongoing research. And the surprise is most students come to register for master and PhD. There is men, of course, but most of them are women, and they are now working in a different site in Egypt. We are spread out, not only in coastal area and not only in Delta, we are spread out. And we doing more work in Egypt and okay, next one. Now, what we do now, our running work. First, we do bird biodiversity assessment and monitoring in St. Catherine, Manzala Lake, Brolos Lake, Karun Lake, and coastal area. And this is very routine work. We do it every month. We do a count, especially for winter count. We have our own methodology. We develop a methodology for winter count, especially to assess migratory birds, and to compare this in relation to habitat change in past and prediction of future scenario. And we develop actually a different methodology approach, because like we have Karun Lake, it's completely different in nature than Manzala Lake or than Brolos. So we try to make it more suitable for each nature. We do breeding survey in all these areas. We do by any record as a we hope that we can make like a breeding bird survey all over Egypt. But it's a big dream, but we are trying in these small areas to start something like that. Also, we record and monitor land use and human activity land cover, and put this in relation to human activity in relation to bird biodiversity, to define if there is new key areas, we have to take care about it. And if there is any key areas recorded as key areas before, maybe we need to just put across on it. Next, okay. So our main project now, and let me talk about it a little bit. The main big funded project now in my small lab is genetic structuring of migratory birds infected with avian influenza, role of geographic origin and host species, virus stability and transmission between Europe and Africa. Actually, I'm happy with this project because it's really funded. It takes 3 years till it's funded from the Egyptian government, and this is the first time that the Egyptian government gave attention to migration and study migration. Although it looks like that we are working in avian influenza. No, we are working at the ecology of infectious disease. Actually, we are working on the other side of the view, that how this migratory bird makes this spillover dynamic. What we are looking for to draw out the migratory routes between Europe and Africa, and study how this spillover, how this can be happened. We are trying to make to study and to make these routes using isotope, and to study the genetic structure of this migratory bird using the genetic data and the samples we will be collected from Egypt. And we are looking now for European collaborator. It's not defined yet. Someone interested in working with Egypt data. I'm keep looking for this collaborator to join us, and to make it like to study the transmission between Europe and between Africa, I mean Egypt, and how this happened, how the migration happened, study migration in Egypt and in Europe, not only in Egypt only. Under the umbrella of this project, there is more than 5 students registered for master, and they all will be bird ecologists. Also, we're still looking for another master student working on the genetic structuring part. And actually also there is a lot of stuff we are looking for, like using isotope ecology. We didn't use this before here in Egypt, and we want to establish it here. Also, we want to make the ornithology lab real in Egypt, and this is one of our big dreams. Yeah, we established monitoring, we established biodiversity assessment, which is good, but we are looking for making it more professional by making real ornithological work here in Egypt, in our university. Exactly. So next, please. The challenges. Okay, I'll not talk about the social challenges that we are women and it's conservative and okay, where are you going and why you do that? But because as a human being, we have to fight all the time. So I'm not talking about this. I'll talk about the most international challenges. Equipment. I still, when I was in UCLA, I bring all my equipment, and my professor helped me. I collect a lot of equipment and to return back to make my small ornithology lab. But I still dream with this ornithology lab. We need more equipment related to birding and to making more ornithology research. We still need the basic equipment. Like I have a student want to come with me for fields, as you see in the previous pictures. I circulate my binocular, I circulate my bird guide. So I'm still thinking about bird guide and still thinking about, I need to make it for my student. I need to prepare the basic requirement for them. So this is a great challenge, especially for new beginners, for early student still just graduated and he looking for binocular or looking for bird guide. It looks easy in Europe and America. It's not easy in Egypt to get a bird guide or binocular. It's very hard to get it. And if you find a binocular or bird guide, it will be very expensive due to the taxes. And also, you will not find good quality binoculars or bird guide. And funding, we need to secure more funds. It takes 3 years to convince the Egyptian environment to fund us, and actually by the end they fund us, which is good. We need to get more prominent result to convince them more, but we need more international funding. We need to promote and empower not only women and men in Egypt for funding and to do more work and real work for ornithology field and for bird ecology work. And okay, so by the end, I'm very I'm just trying to make a brief, but this is what we are really doing here. I'm really would like to thank OSME for allowing me and give me the opportunity to talk about our work, not me. Me and my student, we are really all grateful for you all. We just like to say we are here. We love birds and we trying to make something, and we actually need moral help more than any other help. We need this opportunity, and my students looking for this opportunity. Maybe later, when they finish something with value, we can later make them enter. Actually, youth and young youth need this opportunity. So thank you so much. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Nick. And I'll be happy to receive any question. And thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Basma. That was an incredible sort of whistle-stop tour of all of the work that you and your department and your students are involved in Egypt. So thank you very much for that. although we're slightly behind time, I still want to take at least one question. So, Nick, if you've been following the chat, could you select a question? Would be good. Please.
I have indeed. There's lots of positive feedback about the work you're doing. There's one question here, which is, what will be the effect, do you think, of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam on water birds in Egypt?
Again, what about water birds? I don't hear the beginning of the question.
What do you think might be the effect of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam on water birds in Egypt?
Okay, you mean, if I understand well, funding about water birds in of Egypt, right? Is this right?
It's specifically to do with the proposal of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam.
Okay. Okay. For the from ecological point of view, if Ethiopian dams continue to be built, of course, it will affect water birds in Lake Nasser, and ecologically, maybe Lake Nasser will be shifted to another place, and it needs more studies. But hopefully, I don't know, everything is stopped now, and nothing happened. So yeah, it's need more work in Lake Nasser, if this is what the question mean, to study more in Lake Nasser. Yeah, and we have colleagues, and actually we have a small project doing bird survey and monitoring in Lake Nasser, and we will go maybe by next month. Yeah, but it need more work. Yeah, it need more work and need more funding. Yes, of course.
Great, and I'm sure, Basma, you'll be getting involved in that work, judging by the sheer volume of work that you seem to be able to get involved in. So good luck with that. There are quite a few other questions, Basma. If you're able to answer some of those in the chat box, that would be great. But yeah, there's lots of really positive comments about your presentation. So thank you very much for that. We need to move on to the next session.